Yippee-yi-yo, galloping all the way, great big star on his chest. Out from all of the rest, fastest gun in the West. Yippee-yi-yo, riding around the way, here comes McGraw, the highfalutinist, fastest shootingest cowboy you ever saw. That's McGraw.
True story. When they brought me home from the hospital, my 3 older sisters said, "What are we going to name our baby brother?" And they were told that your baby brother is going to be called, his name is going to be McGraw. And they said, "That is the coolest. We have a cartoon for a brother." And little did they know how accurate they truly were. 910, Big 550 KTRS. That chuckle in the background, hopefully the applause sign is broken. You should laugh at all my jokes. That's Scott Sherman, the host of the Scott Sherman Experience, otherwise known as the Scott Sherman Files, from 9 to midnight here on the Big 550 KTRS. I have a question for you, Scott Sherman.
Yes, sir.
He's also our legal expert, our legal beagle, our legal analyst. Last night I listened to your show, and you're talking to Elizabeth Imus Zero?
That is right.
She married a guy named Zero?
She did.
Okay, all right. And
She
still
took
married
the
to this
name.
guy? She's still married to this Zero guy?
Yeah, much to my chagrin.
All right. I've never met a man who has a last name of Zero.
I know. It sounds like a villain in a James Bond movie.
There was a Zero Maestrel, right? But
Zero Mostel.
Mostel.
That's right. He was the fiddler on the roof.
But his first name was Zero.
His first name was Zero.
But it's like Z-I-R-O, was it?
I think it was Z-E-R-O.
Was it? No, I think it was Z-I-R-O.
It was?
I'm not positive, but I'm kind of. I remember watching Fiddler on the Roof,
and he was also in the original Producers.
He
with
was
Gene Wilder.
Yes. Let's see here.
He played.
And you're a little
Bialystock.
I don't understand. You're a little sweet on her. She's a little sweet on you.
Yeah, she's gorgeous and she's very flirty and she's very smart.
And Z-E-R-O. So somebody named their kid Zero as a first name.
Yeah, da 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 da.
And so she's on your show every Thursday night?
Every Thursday.
And what, she works for Fox now?
Nah, she's a comedian. She's an interesting person because not only is she Don Imus's daughter, which gives her interesting stories about radio, but she was in the Groundlings Comedy School when Melissa McCarthy was there from the Bridesmaids, all the Bridesmaids sort of stars that are of that generation. Those are all her friends.
Right.
So she's got that stand-up comedy improv background. I like that.
Gotcha. And so she's a stand-up comedy going around the country working in whatever
Yeah,
else. How old is she?
She said it last night. She said she's 48.
Wow.
And she put out bikini pics on her website or her Facebook. Let me tell you.
Well, I'm 46. I could put out bikini pics.
Yeah.
Not
that we should do that. We should put you and her in the same outfit.
Yeah. No, I don't know.
Double. That's his first. That's his.
Imus is a weird bird. I put Imus in there with Frank Opinion in terms of weirdness.
Okay.
What did she say about her father?
She said, "What you see is what you get. He is a strange duck," and it's like we're talking about that Ted Cruz because that guy is a complete moron. And even these Tea Party people are just like, oh, no, this guy is eating paste. And I said, when he was doing that whole bit, that routine, it was supposed to be sort of a it's like Martin's semi-cleanse. It was a semi-filibuster.
Right.
It wasn't real.
Yeah.
It's in the first 5 minutes, it's like a bad stand-up act, and the first joke doesn't work, and it's only 5 minutes. This guy, it was 21 and a half more hours of that. And she goes, it was Flop Sweat. And even she was like, yeah, you want to see Flop Sweat? Go back and YouTube when her dad hosted the correspondence dinner. that did not go over well.
He just rips Hillary, and she's sitting 4 feet from him.
Right there.
Yeah,
It did not go over well. Like that, yeah.
Ted Cruz is an interesting character. Watching this government shutdown, which I don't know what else to say about all of this, but you're watching the Republican Party implode from the inside. Now they're going after Ted Cruz.
Good.
Republicans are saying now.
Yeah.
How about this for criticism? Look, Ted Cruz is the one who got us here. Ted Cruz stood up on the floor and dangled meat in front of House Republicans, told them that what kind of conservative are you if you're not going to shut down the government to try and stop Obamacare? So they're insinuating that these House Republicans are like zombies and we gotta defund Obamacare, so that as soon as Ted Cruz shows the ace of the Queen of Hearts. Was it the Queen of Hearts in that movie?
Oh, was that the?
See,
yeah.
John Rooney saved me. I opened my mouth and I had no idea where I was going.
Oh, that's the one with the Mad Hatter. The what's her name?
No, it was one of the greatest movies, and they just did a remake of it. It was with Angela Lansbury, and it was a Russian
Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
It was a Russian spy that they had groomed to become president of the United States. And to talk this Russian spy or to hypnotize him, she showed him the Queen of Diamonds.
Oh.
And every time it was the Queen of Diamonds.
Manchurian Candidate?
Thank you very much. Right. So Ted Cruz shows these House Republicans the Queen of Diamonds, and all of a sudden they're like, we must shut down the government. We must shut down the government. So they're blaming Ted Cruz for stirring up a hornet's nest with these House Republicans.
They should blame Ashton Kutcher for inspiring Ted Cruz.
The whole thing.
His philosophy master.
How about the police in Washington, D.C. not getting paid and yet dealing with that crazy woman driving all around Washington, D.C. yesterday?
Yeah. Look, the biggest bit of ridiculousness about it is, I know who Ted Cruz is now. I never heard of the guy before, and I thought I had followed this pretty well.
Right.
He's a complete lunatic. But two, they're fighting, it seems, to shut down the entire government over something that is completely funded and that they can't defund anyway. So what is the point? They don't like it? Okay, right. There was the challenge to the United States Supreme Court. Then there was an election like 4 months later. We hate Obamacare. Get rid of Obama. Hire the guy that invented Obamacare, Mitt Romney. No. And then, well, hire us because this sucks. No. It's just like, okay, you know what? This Obamacare may or may not suck, but do me a favor. The one thing that I really care about is one day I might want to go down to the Arch. Let me at least go in there. I mean, I really don't care about who works at the Department of
You don't know anything about
Health and Human Services. I don't know those people.
You don't know anything about Ted Cruz?
I do.
Let me tell you a little bit about
Please.
Ted Cruz. You know that he was born in Canada.
Oh, is that right, eh?
He was born in Canada. His father, I believe, is a Cuban. Is of Cuban descent.
Okay.
His mother is American.
Okay.
He was born in Canada.
Okay.
Is he eligible to become president of the United States?
No, because if you have to be I think you. No. You know why he's not eligible? Because of that speech that he gave the other night that disqualifies him. I mean, talk about that.
The fact that Ted Cruz is born in Canada and people are talking about him running for president is fascinating, because President Obama, born in Hawaii, but people claim he was born in Kenya to an American mother. He's not eligible, but their guy 4 years later is going to be somebody who was actually born in a different country to an American mother. He is eligible to become president, by the way.
Yeah.
How about this, though?
Yeah, well, he makes that Christine, what's her name, the witch woman, look like Socrates.
Yeah, Christine, whatever her name was.
Yeah.
Okay, now, moving on.
Andrew usually laughs when I make fun of these people.
Ted Cruz also, you know what his wife does? Now Ted Cruz is, can we call him the leader of the Tea Party? He's basically using all those people. But he, right, no government bailouts, no bank bailouts, right? The Fed, we need to defund the Fed. The Fed needs to go away, right? All these weird.
I like their little burgers, that too.
Okay.
The White Castle.
Do you know what Ted Cruz's wife does?
I think she gets, she works at Lehman or something.
She works at Goldman Sachs.
Yeah, perfect.
She's a honcho at
wait
Goldman
a second.
Sachs.
Aren't those the people that are running the Obama White House?
Aren't those? That's so she's the man. He's married to the man.
He is married. Yeah, and they probably opposes gay marriage, and yet he's married to the man.
He's married to the man, and yet he's running as I'm against the man.
I'd be against the man, too, if I had all that dough. It's easy to be against the man when you're rich.
I'd be against the man, too, when I am the man.
That's right.
I mean, it's very easy to run against the man when you are the man.
If there's any campaign I don't pick parties, but I just don't like stupid. And if you watch any part of that Ted Cruz pretend filibuster.
He's not stupid. The guy went to Harvard.
Yeah, that's true. The hardest part about Harvard is getting in. So when you're 17 and you're real good at test taking, they let you in. What you do from the time you get there for the rest of your life, I don't think you can just say, I went to Harvard. I saw what I thought was, it wasn't even lunacy. It was so bizarre. It's like, this Saturday Night Live? Or this is really the Senate? It was so ridiculous. Saturday Night Live just played the clips from Ted Cruz. They didn't even have anybody imitate him.
That's the funny thing about it is you can't parody this. It's because it is a parody.
No, and then you've got, there are Republicans like John McCain and Peter King, and they're just like, what is going on?
Anyway, all right. Now, Scott Sherman, our guest for the hour. Maybe we'll take a couple phone calls or two. But California is now issuing driver's license to illegals.
Yeah, they passed a law yesterday. Illegal aliens, and they call it that on the U.S. Supreme Court, so that's not pejorative. They're getting California state-issued driver's license.
And Illinois is now starting to get.
Yeah, there are 11 states. Illinois passed it in January. They're going to start doling those out this month. And they're not used as a federal ID, so it's not for voting. It's so that these people that are uninsured, that are driving around without car insurance and that don't have any identification, at least they're going to have car insurance. So people seem to think this is a good idea. But they're saying that I'm not kidding, they say that there's a designation on the driver's license to make it different than the citizen's driver's license. In California, you know what it is? There's a little graphic of a leaf blower on the illegals, but
seriously,
no.
But you never know.
But Illinois, it's going to be a blue background instead of a red background, so they're illegal.
No joke. Illegal immigrants there's a statute for them to pay taxes.
Yeah,
there's a tax. They don't have a social security number, but they have a tax ID number. And there are illegal immigrants who are actually paying taxes on money they earn in this country while they're an illegal immigrant.
Yeah, and for all you people that say, I should throw them out. Well, I'll tell you what, get your lazy kids off the couch to put Xbox down or their smartphone and let them go wash dishes or mow the lawn. That's why they're here, because lazy Americans won't do those
They
jobs.
would do it but once all the illegals go away, then you'll pay the kid a wage. The illegals come in and work for less money. So the kid on the couch can't work.
Isn't that what
he has to sit on the couch?
Isn't that capitalism?
Ladies and gentlemen, St. Louis Closet Company standing by waiting for your Scott Sherman.
Antiquing?
No, I've antiqued before. I actually enjoy antiquing.
Okay. What are you doing?
Signing the paperwork to move to Cottleville.
Hey,
St. Charles.
Cottleville.
Yeah.
Where's that?
The westward expansion continues.
Is that in St. Charles County?
A lot of people. There's two reactions when you tell people you're moving to Cottleville.
Yep.
One, they look at you like, where?
Yep.
And the other one is, Cottleville's a great little town.
It's got a lovely little downtown, little quaint, doesn't it?
Holy mackerel! It's got a gorgeous little downtown.
Wait a minute, weren't you the parade grand marshal?
I was the grand marshal of the Cottleville
Did
parade.
they give you a house? I'll be the parade grand marshal.
They did not give me a house. Every year, this is Cottleville. If I can digress for a moment,
sure.
Cottleville, named after like General Cottle.
Everybody knows him,
right,
or her.
And so it's right off Highway 94 at Mid Rivers Mall. sort of tucked away, sort of back in there off of Highway N.
Yep.
Right by Francis Howell High School Central, which, I mean, I'm learning all these new things. So,
It's right by Stefanina's.
uh,
So I throw that out there in a sponsor.
it is?
Oh, yeah. You're going to like that place,
Is that the one on Main Street there?
I guess.
All right. So, years ago, Adam Timmerman of the Rams, who was a big supporter of Nurses for Newborns, they lived out in Cottleville. And so I was out. They asked me to do something out there at some place. I was like, hey, this is a nice little town. So I sort of knew about it for years. And then I went to this Menino's meat market out there, which is great. Then they have this Cottleville wine building out there. And then they have that Stone Soup Cottage, which is the hottest restaurant in town. And it's this nice little neighborhoody town. And just outside of downtown, McBride and Sons is building houses. So I was like, you know what? I'm an idiot. So I put some money down, and I'm signing the papers today, and I'm moving to Cottleville.
Make sure that you let the city council know. No red light camera tickets.
Not only, listen to this.
And no tiffs.
No what?
No tiffs.
Oh, tiffs.
No tiffs?
I don't know what you said there. All right.
Well, I thought that was your big thing. No tiffs.
Yeah, I don't think they gave a tip to any of these people. The Cottleville mayor tried to bring up legalizing marijuana.
Oh my God!
It failed by one vote.
Is that wait, one vote was it sent to
It was like 2 or 3 years ago.
Was it like a one of those propositions where the people, the elected?
No. I think it was he was trying to get it through the city council.
Or
the
something. City council,
and it came up one vote short.
Hey, get Lomax to move out to Cottleville. I think you got yourself an ordinance.
All right. So anyway, thanks to McBride and Sons, the shovel goes in the ground on Monday.
Congratulations.
Yeah, how about that? Thanks
Cool.
to everybody who's helped me out, also including Boardwalk Hardwood Floors, by the way.
Yeah. Can I throw out some? I live in Claytonville.
Claytonville?
Yeah.
Native to General Clayton?
I'm still looking for the Cardinals for all the sod they threw away a couple weeks ago from that football game.
Yeah.
I could use some of that.
All
That'd
right.
be cool.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's Scott Sherman, host of the Scott Sherman Experience, 9 to midnight, Big 550 KTRS, Monday through Friday. What's the story about California and now Illinois giving driver's license to illegal immigrants?
So they've passed this law. Jerry Brown signed it. He's the governor of California. Illegal aliens, so says the United States Supreme Court, they get these driver's licenses and they can use them like a regular ID, but it stops only at the state levels. The problem is California has 3 million illegal aliens. There are 11 million in the country. That's just the ones they count. So there's probably 3 times as many. It's like, I won't say
those are the only ones
but, you know.
Those are the only ones that want a driver's license.
Yeah, but at least it's a way to get some of the people out of the shadows so that they'll buy auto insurance. We had an issue here a couple of years ago where one of these guys drove his car drunk into what used to be El Vicino Pizzeria in Clayton.
Right.
Boom, no
Yeah.
insurance. So
Yeah.
you have all these people working here. 75% of them are from Latin America.
So let me get this straight. So the state governments want them to get a driver's license.
Yep.
That way they can get insurance.
Yep.
That way, but if the federal government finds out they're here, they're going to deport them.
Yeah, and
meanwhile, we're forcing them to get car insurance and a driver's license on the state level.
Yeah, that looks different than everybody else's. Meanwhile, what do you think is going to happen in Arizona where their Papers, Please law was upheld by the Supreme Court, 8-zip? Yeah, somebody sat out. It was 8-zip last year. So now you got somebody, you pull them over, and you're an Arizona police officer or sheriff's deputy in Maricopa County. They give you the ID. It's blue instead of red. Guess what that means? Call ICE. So illegal aliens are legally allowed to drive, but they're not illegally allowed to be here. And they're legally allowed to work, but not really. And if you're the owner of the business that has the illegal alien whose driver's license looks different, you could get fined for having an illegal alien.
But what's fascinating about this, there's many fascinating things
Yes.
about all this, just in terms of national security, how we can allow people to walk around this country with zero documentation. I mean, just we have no idea who's in this country, and yet we're forced to go get visas and passports for everything
getting
else.
your driver's license.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
In the passport and visa office, they're going to be closing here very soon because of the government shutdown. So American citizens can't get a passport, but illegal aliens can get a driver's license. Now, I'm not necessarily against the driver's license thing, but I don't know why people are getting so excited about it. Meanwhile, not only are the people with the driver's licenses getting to be an issue, but the entirety of the U.S. Supreme Court decision on that has already been made that they can get sent back. Here's what we don't have and what they need in Congress. How about the kids? We know the ones that are born here, anchor babies or whatever people call them, the babies with the good hair. I
missed that one.
That
one over my head.
Like Brian Williams. That's an anchor. He's an anchor. TV anchor.
I gotta
work.
Boy, that was a bad one. That was Carney.
The night show crowd loved it. Beaver, stop. Those people were drunk from the garden. But here's what we don't have and they need. The DREAM Act. This is George W. Bush and John McCain's idea.
Right.
This is where kids that are dragged here by their illegal alien parents that do horrible things like graduate from high school,
right,
go to college,
right,
serve in the military. They can't become citizens yet. So this DREAM Act would be an opportunity for them if they didn't get in any trouble, didn't get any criminal activity or any crimes, graduate from high school, either go to a 4-year school for 2 years, graduate from an associate's degree, or serve 2 years in the military. They could get to be citizens. I think I'd rather have them than the lazy kids that are sitting around playing World of Warcraft.
Going from door to door, getting free candy for Halloween.
Or breaking into somebody's house to steal money for their heroin addiction that they need to get off of.
It's an interesting point.
Halloween. Can we set up the Halloween debate for the Friday? When's Halloween? What day does that fall?
It's the 31st.
I know. What day does that fall?
I don't know. Why? You're pro Halloween now?
I've always been pro Halloween.
You might be banned from the show if you're actually wound up a little bit today.
Well, 3 hours of sleep.
Thursday. October 31st is a Thursday.
Oh, man. We
Why?
might have to have a Halloween debate, you and I. I still feel that I am one of the voices of reason on Halloween, and you are not. But that's okay. I think you could bring your best, I could bring my best, and we could let people decide Halloween or not.
We got a break, and I want to hear.
Wait till Cottleville finds out you don't like Halloween.
I love Halloween in Cottleville. It's great. All the little kids come to your house. It's great. I love everything about Cottleville. How about this? You go to how many times when I was a kid, I went to the DMV to get my driver's license, right, and to get my car inspected. And I go, and they're like, "Well, do you have the paperwork? Do you have the personal property tax? Do you have your insurance card?" No, I haven't. Go get your insurance card. I gotta get my insurance card. No, that's the wrong insurance card. I get right. I can't get my plates and my tags in my car because I don't have insurance. Right? Walk into an emergency room and you want aspirin, and by golly, they'll give you $700 worth of aspirin without asking for an insurance card.
That's right. Blame Ronald Reagan. That was his deal.
Scott Sherman, who's your sponsor?
St. Louis Home Retention Group. Whether you live in Cottleville or Claytonville or somewhere else, it's a nice place. The kids are coming and knocking on the door for Halloween and aggravating McGraw. He won't give them any candy. But you want to have a safe place for your kids to grow up, and you want to have that peace of mind that you're not going to lose your house. Or you want to lower your payment because of what happened with Ted Cruz's wife and all these mortgage people that got a sweetheart deal and you didn't. Well, St. Louis Home Retention Group, they can save your house if you're facing foreclosure or reduce your payments if you're not, because of the HARP program, the federal programs. I think those are still open. St. Louis Home Retention Group, local guys, they know exactly how this works. They can help you. Don't wait. Don't procrastinate. 636-527-5121. 636-527-5121 or stlouishomeretentiongroup.com.
There's a new poll out, and polls being what they are, take them for what they are, the grain of salt. But you know what I find interesting about polls, Scott Sherman, host of the Scott Sherman
Do I have to answer that?
Project, 9 to midnight in the Big 550 KTRS.
Yeah, and at 9 to midnight, I answer that question in a different.
What's interesting about polls, well, take them for what they're worth. But the two things I find fascinating is that 90% of congressmen and elected officials get reelected.
That's right.
And yet the approval rating of Congress is at 10%. So explain that to me.
Gerrymandered districts. You can thank Tom DeLay and all these other people for making it
They had
impossible.
gerrymandering districts before Tom DeLay.
All right, but I mean, we have to blame somebody. What are we gonna blame? George Washington?
All right.
You know, once you get elected to Congress, you have a 95%. Unless even Carlos Danger might have gotten reelected if he hadn't tweeted out his business.
A new poll is out about the government shutdown. You ready for this?
Yes.
72% of Americans disapprove of shutting down the federal government,
That is true.
which means that 28% approve
Yeah.
of the government shutdown.
Yep.
72% disapprove. 25%.
Well, wait. It means that at least 72% are sure what that even means.
Okay, right. 25% approve of the action, so the 3% is other. Republicans are divided. 48% approve of the government shutdown. 49% disapprove. How can you approve of the government shutdown?
And the most ludicrous thing is if they were shutting it down so that they could fund something important, I don't even know that I would see it. But back in '95, when the government got shut down, Newt Gingrich had a sort of principled position. We want a balanced budget. We don't want this out of control government. We want to reduce the size of government.
Right.
This shutdown is we want to stop Obamacare that's already legal and paid for.
That's already now implemented.
That's right. It's
All
like
right.
stopping dessert because you ate the salad for the appetizer.
Republicans are divided. 48% approve, 49% disapprove. Tea Party supporters approve of the government shutdown. 57% of them approve of the government shutdown. They don't like government at all, so they want the government never to reopen.
Yeah, and I'm not quite sure exactly what this Tea Party label means. I mean, there are people that are libertarians that feel certain ways on certain issues, and then there are people that are just nuts
Right.
that they call Tea Party that I think it's unfair. It's getting to be unfair to crazy people to call them Tea Party.
I agree. I also think that if the true Tea Partier is being used and abused by the elected officials, Ted Cruz is just abusing them. And I think the real rhino in the room are the Ted Cruzes.
He's not even American.
Well, all right, listen to this. Republicans in Congress receive more of the blame of the shutdown.
Yeah, well,
44% of Americans blame Republicans. 35% blame Obama.
wait a minute. Obama?
Yes.
It's his fault?
In
He
comparison,
doesn't even have anything to do with passing the budget.
That's true.
It's not his job.
That's true. He doesn't have a vote
The
in it.
Constitution, for all these constitutional scholars out there, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 3. It's Congress's job to pass a budget. It's like the third thing they do. The second two are like show up and wear a tie.
The back in 1995, 51% of Americans blamed Republicans. Now 41% blame Republicans. 35% blame Obama and the Democrats. 28 blamed Clinton. So Republicans doing better than 1995, but not as good as the Democrats.
And it
are
was
now.
Clinton that vetoed the budget in 95. The shutdown cost Newt Gingrich the entirety of his Republican revolution and a speakership that should have been lasting until today. Denny Hastert from Illinois ended up being the speaker. Nobody even knew who he was in 1995.
He was a wrestling coach.
This thing is a disaster for the members of the majority party in Congress or in the House of Representatives. This is a disaster for Republicans if anybody cares about that. Meanwhile, there are people trapped at the top of the arch that need to be rescued.
You're on fire today. So
I know sleep.
Something's going on with you today.
It's you're inspiring. It's Cottleville.
So
Excited.
everyone's against the government until and nobody wants to raise the debt ceiling until your Social Security check isn't going to come in the mail.
Yeah, or
Right.
your mail doesn't come in the mail.
Right. Yeah. And
Or
they'll say, like, hey, whoa, wait a minute, hold on a second. So all these people, I love these people who have decried government from the word go, right?
Right.
I'm anti-government. We want government to be too small. We don't want to. Now what are they arguing? Government's too small? They want to make government larger? Now they're trying to blame the Democrats. You want to shut down the government. Really? They're for bigger government. They're not for no government.
Right. Shut it down.
Right.
We want to make it gigantic.
That's right. Democrats don't want to shut it down. They want to double the
No
size
one will
of government.
vote for us if we shut down the government. We got jobs to give away, man.
It just cracks you up. The arguments that they're making, Democrats, they want to shut down the government.
I like their little burgers.
They do?
Yeah. So it's going to be, I think, a bloodbath between the adults. When the adults in the Republican Party wake up and decide that they've had enough of Ted Cruz and that kid that was on The Real World from Wisconsin. Did you know that there's a guy in the United States House of Representatives who was on The Real World one year? His name is Sean Murphy or Duffy or something like that.
Sean Murphy, isn't that?
Sean Duffy. He's from Wisconsin.
Isn't Sean?
Anyone who is on The Real World or Road Rules or Amazing Race, these people should not be allowed to be in Congress.
Why not?
Because I saw The Real World, and they sit around, they don't work, they get drunk, and they sleep with their roommates.
Sounds like undergraduate work at the University of Michigan.
You don't see me hanging around Washington, D.C.
You don't see me doing anything with my life except talking to Millhaven.
I should run for the Senate against Ted Cruz and see how I do.
Well, first of all, you don't live in Texas, so
Sean Duffy was.
He doesn't
on
even
the
live in the
Real
United.
World.
He doesn't even live in the United States.
No, he wasn't born in the United States. Who is Sean Duffy?
Oh.
He was on The Real World. He is the member of the U.S. House of Representatives for Wisconsin's 7th District.
Is he a D or an R?
He's one of these Tea Party
He's
guys.
a Tea Party guy. Oh,
Yeah,
all right.
I thought the Miz was, or is Puck in?
Hey, wait a minute. Is he for family values? Can you be for family values and beyond that show?
Sure, why not?
Yeah, I don't know anything about The Real World. Clearly, I live in Cottleville.
Oh, that sounds like a lovely community.
All right, we got phones are blown up. I don't know what you said that caused such a controversy.
Leaf blowers called Mexican with leaf blower IEDs. I mean, what?
Can I do my Yellow Farmhouse Winery?
Oh, I love that place.
You know, this is sort of falling into a Inside Out show. Ladies and gentlemen, Yellow Farmhouse Winery this weekend, Highway 94 to Defiance. They got wines, Nortons, Chambersons, Rosés. The wines are fantastic at Yellow Farm. All right, I got a minute and a half. Let's pour a little gasoline on this fire before we head out. Scott Sherman is here.
Hey.
Host of the Scott Sherman Rodeo from 9 to midnight, the Big 550 KTRS. Scott, let's pour a little gasoline on this fire. Bill Haas, ladies and gentlemen, you're on the Big 550 KTRS.
Well, I don't know what fire I'm on, but I'm going to pour gasoline somewhere. Look, one of the sadnesses of my life is that my schedule has changed, and I don't get to listen to Scott's show at night anymore. I get off at 11:30, so I just get to catch the tail end. But I've got to call him out.
Yeah.
On how he rolls over for Elizabeth.
Totally.
Yes.
Totally.
Imus Zero.
Yeah.
First of all,
He's
Imus
right.
is God. Elizabeth Imus Zero, not so much. And she's Tea Party, which is very much her right. But she was on 2 weeks ago criticizing Obama and then criticizing the Democrats. Then she started on Hillary, and she asked Scott, she said, "You wouldn't vote for Hillary, would you?" And he couldn't agree fast enough. He said, "Oh, no, I wouldn't vote for Hillary.
I said in 1996 I would never have. And then she said, she made an allegation that Hillary might like women. I said, well, now I'm going to vote for it for sure.
It's just embarrassing the way.
It is embarrassing.
If you go see her picture,
history of pudding whipped radio.
You're right. If you go see her in a bikini,
no, she's
you might
hot.
agree.
I'm there with you, my brother.
All right, that's enough. Now I got to go take a shower. Bill Hobbs and Scott Sherman talking about ladies.
Yeah. It's like Ted Cruz talking about the economy.
Hey. Good night, everybody. Have a great weekend. We'll do it all again tomorrow. Here I come, Cottleville. So long, everybody.